Hello, welcome to the International Trade Center's video news program, Trade Compass. A record number of people are on the move. In this episode, we share stories about people leaving home, coming home, and building on their cultural heritage to create quality jobs through trade. Today, 66 million people are displaced because of conflict, disasters, and lack of opportunities. That's the entire population of the United Kingdom. A third of those displaced are refugees. As we're about to see, solutions can sprout from the very places the issues are rooted.
The right to work is a human right, and moving across borders should be a matter of choice, not necessity. Policies that encourage quality jobs at home are essential to peace and stability, no matter where we live. Let's hear what government leaders have to say.
L'Afrique et l'Europe doivent continuer à coopérer. Ce défi, c'est l'immigration, l'immigration illégale. Nous devons développer des politiques alternatives d'emploi sur le continent. L'Europe doit aussi nous accompagner dans ces politiques.
In 2015, we received 163,000 refugees. If you have policies to integrate the immigrants into the society, it's good for the society. This happened when we have the Balkan Wars. Now, 20 years later, you cannot see any difference in the way how much they are working in the society, and it has been a big asset for Sweden.
Most of the world's refugees come from three countries: Syria, Afghanistan, and Somalia. Syria alone accounts for about 5 million refugees. Swiss-Syrian designer Rania Kinge is doing her part to preserve her country's heritage and to create jobs for women in Syria displaced by war. She chooses to travel between her two countries, connecting the women to the rest of the world through their handmade products.
The sanctions made it impossible to conduct any type of business. We can't order any raw materials from any country in the world. It would have been very easy for me to give up. We choose a craft that does not require electricity and that use local stones. You can make about 2 a day. Women who have children or who can't necessarily work inside the workshop, we give them the raw materials and they do them. And these beads are threaded beads. This is a typical Syrian craft that is usually passed on from mother to daughter. This is also dying because the women were all displaced. The merchants cannot find them anymore to give them raw materials for them to produce. Because we order so many of them, thousands, it forces the merchant to go look for them even if he can't find them. The women who did these are displaced women from the villages in the countryside of Latakia. The original team in Damascus would leave Damascus at 5 o'clock in the morning. They would reach Latakia at 9:30 in the morning. It's 400 kilometers away, cross 15 military checkpoints, full search, with their threads and their crochet needles. They went that far to train other displaced women. They are making now 4 times the average salary in Syria. You don't need to have college degrees or even to be literate to make your own living, even if it's in a war zone. We also brought a trainer who trains banks and multinationals inside Damascus in management and teamwork. And she spent a few hours with them explaining to them how the impact of what they are doing is resonating with the world. After that, I saw many changes in their behavior. Our team went from 20 displaced women to 108 women. People are starting to realize who made my bag matters. The livelihoods of the women is increasing through trade. Trade matters, and this is how the women are able to sustain themselves. Now you are exporting to international markets, to Switzerland, to Japan, to the United States. They get extremely motivated to say, yes, our work has paid off. Look at all these people wearing our product. it values them, it enhances their self-confidence. My behavior and the ethics that I put in what I produce matters. It doesn't only represent me, but it represents an entire culture, an entire country.
Doing things differently means finding innovative ways of empowering people. Let's hear from the new Gambian government, which is putting women and youth at the forefront of its efforts to rebuild its society. We'll also hear from the musician Sona Jobarteh, who is using culture as a gateway to inspire entrepreneurship.
For the 22 years, plans were developed from the top bottom. Women are excited with the change. Youths are excited with the change. We want to have gender disaggregated data so that we can have evidence as to where the gap is and use all this evidence to develop the appropriate policies so that gradually or eventually they will forget about going the back way, dying in perilous journeys just to see the diaspora, and a dream that sometimes never comes true. Instead of imposing on them, we want to build on their experiences, their talent, and their aspirations.
This is the kora. It's a 21-string harp from West Africa. My name is Sona Jobarteh. I'm a kora player and a singer from the Gambia. I belong to one of the griot families who have been keeping this tradition alive for over 700 years. I didn't put myself into traditional context of playing the instrument. I only targeted what was a new thing, which was the stage, the international stage. That, I think, is what gave me the freedom to be able to pursue it. Getting an education, a good education, is vital to your success internationally. So for me, the education that I received in the UK was also a very, very important part of my development. Just as important as going back to Africa, because we are not getting the right expertise coming in, and the people who are best suited to develop the country are Gambians themselves. So we need to find a new way to innovate, to make sure that our traditions stay alive. One of the most important ways to do that is to institutionalize aspects of our country industry. So the school that I set up is the first school to institutionalize our tradition. It has ways of teaching the tradition to students of all ages and from all different backgrounds. We'll deal with not only education, but also cultural preservation, so dealing with all of the historical archives and make it accessible to Gambians. Culture is going to open up so many avenues for trade. We can use that to train people in areas that they may feel a little bit intimidated to enter. You are not doing something which you are unqualified to do, you are doing something which actually belongs to you. So I'm very excited that we have the prospect of working with the ITC to engage the youth in entrepreneurship. You can gain a qualification in music theory, in music management, production, design, in film. You know, there's so many different ways we can offer youth to come in and realize they have a very successful profession that can come out of it.
We've met social entrepreneurs who use the diaspora as a springboard for trade, as well as policymakers who support their causes. We hope they've inspired you to tackle this issue in your own way. Thanks so much for joining us on this edition of the International Trade Center's Trade Compass. See you again soon.